Okay. Hello, everyone. There's no one on right now, but I am sitting at work, and recently in the news, there has been a lot of conversation about Lil Nas X and his music video and different things that have been going on. And I wanted to have a conversation about it because I feel like I'm connected to both of these spaces and communities. And but I wanted to kind of like see what the vibes was like, what everyone was, talking about. And so now I feel like I have my thoughts somewhat together. I want to start off by saying that Lil Nas X was raised in the church, right? I think his dad is actually a pastor or some type of pastor, preacher, deacon, somebody in the church. And being black, gay, being a young man, there are so many different challenges that you face within the church, but especially when you're trying to figure out your sexuality. And I feel really bad. I feel really bad for Lil Nas just because I know how that feeling is. The intersectionality between queerness and faith is a difficult one. And I feel like a lot of there is a spectrum from all of these conversations, right? We have on one side, people are saying this is satanic, this is demonic, this is horrible. And then on the other side, we have he is just loving himself and, this is great. And, dance on the devil and do all this stuff. And here's the thing. I feel like you can be so hurt by the church that you rebel, right? And you can be so hurt by church culture that you do begin to just be like, F it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like so this title is Lil Nas X did what he had to do, right? Because let me tell you something. If you are continuously being told that you are going to die, you're going to burn in hell for something that comes natural to you, something that you have no context, right? All you know is that you're going to die because of who you are. I feel like what a horrible place to sit in because there's nothing that you can do and you have no context, right? So I feel like this video was a way to take back control of the narrative, to say, you might say that I'm going to hell, but I want to take not only control of this story, but take control of this character, because I don't believe that Lil Nas X believes in hell or heaven or the devil. I don't think he thinks it's real. And that's why he kills him at the end of the video. But if you do read the Bible, you know that we already have somebody who has defeated the devil. We have somebody who has already defeated death and all of these things that we consider hell now. I want to say that we have to take accountability for a lot of these actions. I think a lot of the pain and hurt that Lil Nas X feels is because of how church culture has been able to terrorize and really hurt queer folk for many years. And we have to lament and we have to mourn that. We have to take accountability of our actions, and I say our, and I mean people who believe in God and who have been raised in the church, too, as being part of that. And as somebody who loves Jesus and is part of both of these spaces, I have to sit with that as well and sit with how am I unlearning it, but in some ways, how am I also perpetuating some of these ideas? And I try every day to not do that. And I feel like, I hope that we can start having some conversations now about what we can do to not have those ideas and not have those ways of thinking. Also, lots of people are saying, like, this is not satanic, this is not demonic. First of all, it's not your place to say. Like, you don't even know. Like, that's like having white people say this is not racism or this is racism. Like, you don't know. I don't think you have the range to, like, talk about these things. And some of us don't. Like, the thing is, he might be so upset with God that he does start to, like, that is a actual religion, or people who actually do practice, that stuff. And so, like, it is what it is. Like, he has shoes about it. So, like, my thing is, like, what am I trying to say? Like, don't, my thing is, like, we have to, like, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he had a horrible experience in this and now he wants to put out Satan's shoes, you know what I mean? We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, that's not demonic, but I also feel like we have to take accountability of our part in that. I think Lil Nas X is at a point in his life, and I don't want to speak for him, but this is my observation, where he had to do this to survive. Imagine people constantly telling you that you're going to die and burn in a place that you have no idea about, you have no context of. Like, you had to do something to gain back control of your life, to live. And I found that through my relationship with Christ. And when I was thinking about this, what's funny to me is that in church, you find two things, right? You find Jesus in church, but you also are supposed to find a community. For me, I found my relationship with God in church, but I didn't find a community in church. I found community with queer folk because of my interests. Before I even knew what sexuality meant, before I even knew what all of these things meant, I found community with these people because they made me feel accepted, loved, and welcome. They were my people. Queerness goes far beyond sexuality. Queerness involves fashion, art, music, culture. Like, like, there's so many different aspects to it that might not have anything to do with sexuality. So to think that people now have to deny part of their, like, literal life, like every aspect of their life, it's giving confusion. And I get it. I feel like, again, he had to do this to survive. He had to do this to survive. He had to have some type of, like, story to tell himself to not die. And he has talked about suicidal thoughts. And many queer folk do go through that. And I feel like that's, again, we have to take accountability because people are dying. People are dying at the things that we're saying. Not we, because I wasn't out here, but historically, people are dying with some of these things that we are talking about. So I just wanted to come on here. You guys can share with me your thoughts, but I feel like this is all happening because of the historic trauma that church culture has had on queer folk. And this is a really good time for us to talk about not only the historic trauma that we've had, but figure out ways to do better and change. Is that not the point, though? You said to think people have to deny a part of their eternal life. Well, yeah, that's following Christ. You deny the flesh and desires and desires. Yes, no, that is very, very true. But the thing is, for people who, how do I say this? People who are heterosexual, people who are straight, you can still go about life in a very similar way with not a lot of readjustments or what is it called? Reacceleration? What is that word? Reacceleration. Okay, you can still go about life and be comfortable. You can still go about life and still talk to people, hang out, play games. You can still enjoy some of the same things that you used to. Whereas queer folk, like I said, queerness goes far beyond sexuality, right? So I'm not going to stop listening to queer folk music or fashion or art just because now I accepted God in my life, because those are not, queerness does not equate to death. Just like heterosexuality does not equate to godliness. There are some heterosexuals who take that on, and their heterosexuality is causing them causing them problems and drifting them away from what God wants for their lives. All I'm saying is that I get that point where you have to deny your flesh and your desires, yes, and that is part of what we have to do. We all have those, and it's different for everybody, but there are still aspects of life that you don't have to worry about when you accept God in your life that queer folk do, and it's a difficult situation. I'm more so worried about the way he's using his platform, knowing children/teens are a huge percent of his fan base. Yeah, and that is an age-old argument that people you can't really help that kids liked Old Town Road. You know what I mean? He was 18. It popped off. It was a great song, but you still want to be an artist and express yourself, and I get it. You should probably censor your kids from seeing that, and I would too, but he can't just censor his whole life because of children. So, but that's still the point. I'm not saying you can't listen to queer music or wear stuff made by a queer person or anything in that sense. I just mean you have to give things up. Oh, for sure. But the thing is, my problem, bro, is that we are expecting things of people who have not seen or heard Jesus before. They might have heard God, they might have heard Jesus, but they have not had an opportunity to get a relationship with God. And I feel like because we're pushing all of these ideas and standards, that some people will never get the chance to. Think about this. Think about me trying to set you up on a date, right? With this awesome guy who is in love with you. Your life is going to be set, right? And I know this. And he knows this, but you don't know this, right? But before you guys meet, I'm saying, this guy, he is amazing. He's going to have your life set. He's going to do all these great things for you, right? But you need to cook. You need to clean. You need to do all of this. You need to change the way you do this. You need to do, I'm already giving you a list of do's and don'ts before you even meet this person. Obviously, I'm not going to meet him. Obviously, you're not going to want to meet this guy, right? Because it's just who are you? You know what I mean? I don't know you. Why do I have to do this? And the thing is, a lot of believers go by a list of do's and don'ts without even having a foundational relationship with with God. And that is part of what is keeping them from their spiritual walk as well. I am not in the business of giving people a checklist of do's and don'ts of what they can and can't do. I am in the business of wanting to have people get to know God, because he has changed my life. He has given me hope. He has given me freedom and acceptance and love. And it saddens me that people will never get that opportunity to know who he is because of the pain that we have caused them. And that is Lil Nas X's, story. He has been through so much hurt and pain through church culture that he won't have that, opportunity. Let me read more. It's not a performer's job to censor anything. Straight or gay, the difficulty does not matter. We are called to give those things up. But this whole mantra video just seems like a troll move. He's being extreme words to get. Oh yeah. Well, people use like religious things to get attention all the time. That has happened for years. From Madonna to Lady Gaga to Lil Nas X. Like, people love to use... Nicki Minaj had a whole Catholic thing in the past. Like, I think part of that is to get attention. But because I know part of his story, I do know that he had some type of experience or hardships within the church as well. I agree with that point. We need to be more welcoming rather than instant condemnation. But also, he is not considering that being extreme is doing what people criticize Christians for. You draw people to Christ with love, not condemnation. Lil Nas X being hurt by the church folk doesn't give him a pass to troll. I feel like he is an artist that can express his story how he wants to. But what I will say is that people can't be saying like, oh, this is not demonic or satanic when there's like literal Satan shoes with literal blood in it, with literal devil symbols. So it's just like let's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. People, well, it's not okay, but you know what I mean? Like, let's call it what it is. And if he is doing that because of his hurt, like, let's just call it what it is, you know what I mean? But there's some folks on Twitter who are just like, no, this is not. And I'm just like, okay, truth can stand. Like, it can be symbolic, yes, but you can be so hurt by the church that you start to become against the church, anti-Christ, or start to, dibble and dabble with, satanic stuff. I feel like that is a truth, and that is a possibility, and that is something that he might be experiencing. All I'm saying is that we have to take account of how did he get to this point. And if we think that it's harmful and hurtful, how can we do better? How can we help people and be better examples of what it means to be called by your name? You know what I mean? I don't know. So I just wanted to share my thoughts. I feel like this is a time for us to reflect and talk about it and address some of the things that we have caused on these young folk and do better. This is the justification white folks have made to spread hate. A group of black people did this to me. Thus, I get to troll and spread my hate for them. Facts. And I was actually thinking about this too. I'm a black man, right? And I can say that the black community has hurt me in some ways because I am not what the black man should be in society. You know what I mean? Like, I have been hurt by some of the things that black people have said to me, some of the things that black men have said to me, black women have said to me, but I'm still pro-black. That is still my space. I do not bash black people or black things at all. I've been hurt within all spaces that I have been part of, but I can also see the good in those spaces as well. Now, I do draw the line where I say we need to, like, there are some things that if I have been hurt by a church, I draw the line and I move somewhere else, right? But I'm black, you know what I mean? So, like, there are things that are wrong within black culture, how we view black women. There's things wrong with colorism, but I want to try to fix those things. I want to try to better those things. I want to try to better how we view black men, right? And in the same regard, I feel that within all the spaces that I occupy, there are things within the queer space that I don't agree with, but I want to better it. There are things within the Christian space that I do not agree with, but I want to be there to better it. I think because in this society, it's so easy to just be like, chuck up the deuces, I'm out. Like, I don't care. You guys hurt me and I'm good. And I feel like in some ways, yes, you need to do that. But I feel like you might be in a space to be the difference, to make and cause and affect change where you are. And I want to do that. And I feel like it's okay. Like, when I see things wrong within the black space, I'm going to call it out because those are my people, right? Those are my people. I am them. They are me. So I want us to be better. Same within the church or the Christian space, or same within the queer space. I talk about these things because that is my community. I have love for them. I have love for them. They have love for me. I am them. They are me, right? So I'm not going to just say like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I mean. Thank you, bro, so much. I appreciate it. More love to you for that. If Lil Nas X took that approach, he would have actually been effective change. But this approach isn't changing anything. What's crazy is that you might think that this is not changing anything, but the reason why it's getting so much attention is because people are finding hope through that. They are finding hope through the narrative of killing the enemy, right? Killing this idea that I will die. And what I know about Jesus and about the Bible is that narrative is dead. Like, Jesus wants to live in eternity with you and wants to have a relationship with you that goes far beyond anything that we could ever imagine. And I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to talk about what I've been through. And I don't have those fears anymore, yet I'm still within or adjacent to the queer space. And so I feel these things much deeply and differently than a lot of other people do. So I just want to say that I feel like this was a coping mechanism for Lil Nas X, because there are people who genuinely feel like they will be sent just somewhere awful, horrible, because of these things. And that is not true. Just like you will not go to heaven just because you like you know what I mean? Like, just because you followed a list of things and like do's and don'ts, but your heart is still evil and you're still a bad person. Like, like you know what I mean? And also, can we talk about Why are we holding people to a standard that they have no idea and that they did not sign up for? Like, why are we holding people to a biblical standard who have no context of biblical principles and who do not subscribe to biblical principles? I'm not going to hold you to a standard that you have not subscribed to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's it to you? That's why, like, I wasn't as triggered as most people, because I feel like that, like, there are people who take that on as a religion. Some people don't feel as deeply, talk or joking about, devil worshiping things because they don't believe in the devil. Like, they don't think that's real. They don't think, God is real. So why am I going back and forth, arguing with you, holding you to a idea or standard that you have, like, you don't, not to sound elitist or anything, like, but you don't have the range or the background knowledge on. So now will I be buying the Satan shoes? Absolutely not. Because I don't mess with, like, I know, like, you know what I mean? But, like, as seeing a queer black man be able to express himself musically and find and create a story that gives him hope, I can respect it. I don't agree with it, but I can respect it, because we all need some type of anchor. We all need to tell ourselves something to make us keep going, right? And I found my story, right, through the gospel, but everybody is finding their story in different ways and realms. Does that make sense? He did what he had to do. He told himself that story so he can survive. Because for years, not only society, but the church was telling him a story that was harmful. Period. Say it loud. Got a much love. I'll be in the next conversation. LOL. And on top of that, those shoes are ugly. Yeah. Sorry. Like, but the thing is, I saw this on Twitter. They were talking about how they had, like, the God shoes with, like, holy water and, like, at the bottom of it. Like, that's somebody's religion. You know what I mean? The devil's shoes, whether we like it or not, that's somebody's religion. So it's not mine. I don't subscribe to that, period. Like, I know the one who saves and the one who sets free. He has great plans for me. But, girl, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had our Jesus shoes. Now he's putting out his, satanic shoes. But for the girls on Twitter is saying it's like satanic when the shoes are literally called satanic shoes. Like, girl, come on. Like, okay, like if you don't care, just say that. You know what I mean? But I'm at work right now. Somebody said, what are you doing? I'm at work right now. I am folding up some acceptance letters to ASU. So if you get accepted, congratulations. But yes, so I'm going to be hopping off. I just wanted to share my thoughts. I'm going to be posting this on my main page because I want to. If I want to, I will. And I don't really care about my feed any longer. I'm just gonna post whatever I want. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you know that you are loved and you are here for a reason. Don't let all of this negativity wear you down. And I hope that you will be able to find something that anchors you in a healthy way. I have been able to do that. And I feel so lucky because I could have been Lil Nas X, if we're being real. Like, I have been hurt by the church as well. But I don't want to cry. But what was different about my story is that I started to grow in my relationship with God. before any of the hurt truly had an effect on me. And that was my anchor. That was my story. And it saved my life. And there are people who might not be so lucky. And that sucks. That sucks. And yeah, so I'm gonna be praying and just continue to love and yeah. I don't know. All right, well, bye guys.